My first guest of the evening is Helen S. Balick. She is Delaware's U.S. Bankruptcy Judge for the District of Delaware, our only district in this state. She is the Trailblazer Award winner for 1984. That award is presented by the Delaware Alliance of Professional Women. I want to welcome her here to this show. Judge Balick, welcome to Focus Delaware.
Thank you.
We should talk a little bit about this award you won, the Trailblazer Award. What does it represent, and what is the organization that awarded it to you?
The Delaware Alliance of Professional Women. It's an umbrella organization of the professional groups in the state. I believe there are 18 members.
Mm-hmm. And the award, what does it stand for, the Trailblazer Award?
I think someone other than I would be better qualified to answer that. I suppose it's someone who is a trailblazer, a pioneer, perhaps. That's the way I look at myself from time to time.
Well, from our little chat before the show began, you do seem like a pioneer. Let's talk a little bit about how you came to be a lawyer and a judge. How did you get into the legal profession?
Quite by chance. When I was a senior in high school, the local high school where I attended had established the policy of sending seniors into jobs in the community. I was asked if I wanted to work in a law firm, and I jumped at the opportunity to get out of school in the afternoon.
And from there, from being a legal secretary, how did you end up being a lawyer?
Well, I was a legal secretary for a number of years, and then I was dating a young man who was instrumental in getting me to do something about getting into law school. I thought it was a lost cause. I don't have a college education. And at that time, I submitted an application to the State Board of Law Examiners in Pennsylvania. And based on the application, they permitted me to take the graduate record examination and some tests. They called them area tests in humanities, natural sciences, and social sciences. That was administered by Educational Testing Services of Princeton at the State Board offices in Philadelphia. 2 days of tests. So I took them. And then I got the news I was registered as a law student. After that, I got married, took the LSAT, and was accepted at one of the 3 schools that I applied. 2 of them wouldn't consider me because I didn't have the bachelor's degree. I was accepted, did not want to go, too newly married, and then my husband died suddenly, but before he had urged me to get, or do whatever I had to do to get into law school, and I was accepted in the class of '63 at Dickinson.
And then from there, you started a legal career in Pennsylvania.
That's right. I went to Girard Trust as a probate administrator. What that means is I was responsible for the settlement of decedents' estates from the beginning of the case, lawyers will understand that, through the federal estate tax period. I was responsible for coordinating, not for doing the actual work myself.
And then from there you became a member of the Delaware Bar, but not without some hurdles to overcome.
Well, a year out of law school I married a Delaware lawyer.
And his name?
Bernard Balick.
Another Judge Balick.
That's right.
Yes.
And I was scheduled to take the bar exam, so I did. But even though I was a member of the Pennsylvania Bar, I had to satisfy some undergraduate requirements before I could be admitted, or even registered as a law student. I believe there were 5 examinations that I had to take, administered by different professors at the University of Delaware.
Mm-hmm. Well, to make a long story short, you now are a federal bankruptcy judge for the District of Delaware. Sitting from that position, do you see the federal law concerning bankruptcy as consumer-oriented or debtor-oriented? Excuse me, debtor-oriented or creditor-oriented?
Do you want some history?
Fine.
The 1898 Act, that was around for years and years and years,
yes,
created a situation that was more or less creditor-oriented.
I see.
The Reform Act of '78 swung the pendulum a little bit far side of center. Now we have some activity on the part of consumer credit industry who are responsible for some consumer credit amendments that became effective last October. And that swings the pendulum again back beyond center. So we have a swing.
In your role as bankruptcy judge, are you arbiter, mediator, conciliator, judge, or you take a passive role, an active role? How do you perceive your role and job?
As a judge, I solve or try to resolve controversies. It's the same as any other judge. There has to be a dispute before it becomes a matter that comes before me, either in the form of a hearing or a trial, an ordinary civil action, for example. There's some administrative work, but I don't get involved in the administrative settlement of bankruptcy estates. That's a switch from decedent's estates.
Do we have, how would you rate our bankruptcy court in this district of Delaware, if that's a fair question, with other districts? How do we rate up?
You mean in the quality of the work?
In terms of quality and quantity?
In quantity?
Yes.
Well, Delaware is a small district.
Yes.
By comparison with the Southern District of New York, we're very, very small. We have a fairly large caseload. There's enough to keep me busy. We have a staff of 7, and everyone works hard. I think they all enjoy what they're doing.
Do you see the federal bankruptcies being filed increasing as the time goes on now, or do you see that we finally turn the corner and the numbers may drop?
We're leveling off. It's decreased from last year, but you have a difference in the kind of cases that are being filed. There are more reorganizations now than in the past. That's been steadily increasing for the last 3 or 4 years. The numbers are still very high on what we call consumer liquidation cases.
Yes.
They're Chapter 7s. And that's the case on a national scale in every bankruptcy court.
Well, Judge Helen Balick, I want to thank you for coming on Focus Delaware, and you truly deserve the Trailblazer Award winner from everything that I've heard from the Delaware Alliance of Professional Women. I applaud you in your efforts and wish you success in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
It's been Judge Helen S. Balick, our federal bankruptcy judge for the District of Delaware. Now, when we return, Peggy's going to teach us a little bit about the the Newark Symphony Orchestra. Please stay with us.